After my car accident, my family took a vacation to Italy without me. They told me not to bother them, so I froze their bank accounts and vanished. Now they're desperate to reach me, but I'm not picking up the phone. Hey, Reddit. Before we start, I just want to say that this is our new channel. And we're really working hard to bring you the best stories. So make sure to subscribe to get us 1,000 subscribers very soon. Let's start the story. So, where do I even begin? I never thought I'd be the type of person to cut off their own family, let alone do something as drastic as freezing their accounts and disappearing from their lives. But I guess when you get abandoned at your lowest point by the very people who are supposed to love you unconditionally, your perspective shifts. Your patience thins, and your tolerance for betrayal dies a sudden death. 3 weeks ago, I was in a horrible car accident. I was driving home late from work, completely drained, barely awake, when some drunk idiot ran a red light and smashed right into the side of my car. The airbags deployed, my head slammed against the window, and everything went black. I woke up in the hospital with a concussion, 3 broken ribs, a fractured leg, and a bruised spine. The pain was unbearable, but honestly, that wasn't even the worst part. The real pain came after I picked up my phone and saw a voice message from my mother just hours after my surgery. I remember lying there, groggy, tubes attached to my arm, painkillers dulling my senses when I finally managed to unlock my phone. I thought maybe it was a message wishing me well or checking in on me. I couldn't have been more wrong. Her voice was chipper, almost excited. She said, "We're boarding our flight to Rome. Your father, sister, and I need this trip to relax and recharge. Don't call us unless it's an emergency, and even then, try not to disturb us. We'll be back in 2 weeks." My mouth went dry. I couldn't even process it. I just laid there, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding. No one came to visit me. No flowers. No cards. Just a message telling me not to be an inconvenience while they sipped wine and posed in front of the Colosseum. And before anyone thinks I'm some spoiled kid who expects the world to revolve around them, I'm 26 years old. I've been working since I was 19, paying my own bills, contributing to household expenses, and I even co-signed on a few loans with my parents. I wasn't asking for the world. I just wanted someone to sit by me and make sure I didn't choke on my own vomit while recovering from a major trauma. I had 2 friends visit me in the hospital. Co-workers, not even that close, but at least they showed up. My parents. Not a single check-in call. Not even a text asking how I was holding up. Meanwhile, their Instagram stories were blowing up with selfies in Venice, luxury dinners in Florence, boat rides in Capri, and my sister showing off her outfits like it was some influencer campaign. After 4 days alone in the hospital, I got discharged. I still had a cast, was on crutches, and was in no condition to care for myself. But guess what? I had to Uber myself home. When I got there, the place was cold, dark, and empty. I remember dragging myself up the stairs every step a challenge and sitting on the couch thinking, how did I become this disposable? That night, I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I kept hearing my mom's voice in my head telling me not to disturb them. And then, something inside me snapped. I remembered all the things they made me do for them over the years. The loans I helped them with. The online banking accounts I helped set up. The ATM cards I activated. The passwords they never bothered to change because I was the one managing most of their digital stuff. And that's when the idea hit me. Not out of pettiness, but out of a deep, burning sense of betrayal. I opened my laptop, logged into the joint banking platform I had helped them set up years ago, and began the process. I transferred my name off everything that connected me financially to them. Then, I went ahead and froze every account linked to my information. Their savings, checking, even the travel fund account they've been bragging about using in Italy. I deactivated their ATM cards. I flagged a couple of international charges as suspicious to trigger fraud protection alerts. It was all perfectly legal. I'm listed as a joint account holder or secondary administrator on most of them. I didn't steal anything. I just pressed pause on their little Roman holiday. Within 24 hours, the messages started coming in. Missed calls from my mom, then my dad, then my sister. Voicemails ranging from confused to furious to downright panicked. One of them went something like this. "What the hell did you do to the accounts? We're stranded. We can't withdraw money. We can't even buy lunch. This isn't funny. Call us back now. But I didn't call them back. I didn't respond to a single text. I watched their chaos unfold silently as I sipped soup and iced my leg in the apartment they had abandoned me in. It wasn't just revenge. It was clarity. A realization that I had been treated like a backup plan, a utility, not a loved one. And when the one time came where I truly needed them, they chose a vacation. They begged me to pick up. They tried emailing. My mom even sent a voice message sobbing, saying they had learned their lesson and they were sorry, that they were scared, hungry, and had no way of accessing their hotel or booking a flight home. But I didn't break. I stayed silent. I turned off notifications. I told my landlord I might be away for a while and packed a bag. Then I left. I didn't tell them where I was going. I just vanished. And now they're losing their minds. They've contacted distant relatives, my old friends, even my workplace, trying to track me down. They've gone from apologetic to angry to desperate. They still don't know where I am. But I know this isn't over. Part of me wonders if I've gone too far. Another part of me feels more peace than I have in years. Because for once, I'm in control. For once, I'm not the one getting hurt. And just as I thought I was done with all of it, I received an unexpected email. It was from my sister. And what she wrote completely changed everything. I didn't expect to hear from my sister of all people. Between all three of them, she was the one I thought would side with my parents no matter what. She'd always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, who got away with everything because she was younger and better at playing innocent. So when I saw her name pop up in my inbox, my first instinct was to delete the email and move on. But curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. And what I read made my stomach twist in ways I wasn't prepared for. The message was long. And unlike the frantic voice messages and texts I'd been ignoring, this wasn't full of yelling or blame. It started with an apology, not a fake one either. A real, honest, messy apology. She admitted that she hadn't understood how badly they had treated me. She wrote that when I got into the accident, she wanted to stay behind, but our parents convinced her that I'd be fine, that it wasn't serious, that I'd be out in a day or two, and that the trip had already been paid for, non-refundable. And there was no point in wasting it. She said she believed them until they got to Italy and she started realizing just how heartless the whole thing was. She wrote about how, during dinner in Rome, she brought up my name and both of them shut her down. My mom said I was being dramatic and that I needed to learn not to rely on people so much. My dad laughed and said I'd be back on my feet in no time, just like always. My sister said she didn't sleep that night. She felt sick to her stomach. Especially when she saw me post an old picture on Instagram. Me in a hospital gown, giving a thumbs up, clearly alone. She confronted them, fought with them. She told them they were cruel, that leaving their son in a hospital bed after a near-death crash was inhuman. She even offered to use her own savings to fly home early and be with me. But my mom guilted her into staying, saying she was trying to ruin the trip for everyone else. She stayed, and she hated herself for it. The email ended with her saying she understood if I never forgave her. That she didn't deserve it. But she wanted me to know she wasn't like them. Not anymore. She said she was done with their selfishness. She was flying back home early. She had found her own way, booked with a different airline using what little money she had left after the frozen accounts, and she would be arriving the next day. She didn't ask me to meet her. She just wanted me to know. I sat there for hours after reading that. My emotions were a mess. Anger, sadness, guilt, confusion, it all hit at once. I'd lumped her in with them. Maybe she hadn't done enough. Maybe she could have left sooner. But at least she saw the truth. And at least she had the courage to tell me so. I finally responded. Just a short message. I told her I'd be at the cafe near my apartment the next afternoon if she really was coming back and wanted to talk. I didn't know what I was expecting. Maybe part of me was afraid she'd try to guilt me into forgiving everyone. But I needed to hear her voice. I needed to see if the apology was real. The next day, I waited. I showed up early and sat there with my leg still in its brace, my crutches propped up against the chair, a coffee slowly going cold in front of me. And then I saw her. She looked exhausted. Pale. But when she saw me, her eyes filled with tears and she practically ran over. We didn't say anything at first. She just hugged me tight. It hurt. My ribs still ached, but I let her. And I cried too. Right there in public, we talked for hours. She told me more details. How my mom had tried calling the bank to unlock the cards and was told that the account activity had been frozen due to security concerns. How my dad tried to book an emergency hotel after theirs kicked them out for not paying, but couldn't because his cards were declined. How they were forced to spend a night at the airport trying to get through to their bank's fraud department with no luck. She admitted they were still stuck over there, waiting for the embassy to help sort things out. And then she said something I didn't expect. She told me she wanted to cut ties with them too. She wanted out. She'd realized this wasn't the first time they'd been emotionally abusive or manipulative. They'd always played favorites, always put themselves first, and she was done. She asked if I'd be willing to move in together, at least temporarily, while she figured out her next steps. Said she could help me with things around the apartment while I recovered. That we could start fresh, just the two of us, as siblings, not enemies. I didn't answer right away. I needed to think. I'd lived in survival mode for so long. The idea of family, of trust, felt foreign. But I told her I'd consider it. And that was more than I thought I'd be able to say. Later that evening, after she left, I checked my phone. More missed calls from my parents. Dozens of them. Voicemails full of apologies, bargaining, desperation. My mom begging me to call back, saying they were sorry, that they didn't mean it, that they were scared and helpless. I didn't return any of them. Instead, I opened the banking portal one last time. I removed myself entirely from the accounts. No more join anything. No more access. No more ties. I didn't touch a cent. I just left them to deal with their mess. I wasn't out for revenge anymore. I was done. Sometimes walking away is the only form of peace you can give yourself. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. In the days that followed, I began rebuilding quietly. I started attending physical therapy, meal prepping again, watching movies that made me laugh instead of spiral. My sister kept her promise. She moved in a week later, bringing only a few bags and a quiet determination to start over. We didn't talk much at first, but there was comfort in the silence. It was the kind that says we're both healing at our own pace together. I don't know what the future holds for my parents, whether they'll ever make it back or whether they'll ever really understand the damage they caused, but I've stopped needing that closure. I realize some chapters aren't meant to end with a grand apology or reconciliation. Some just close quietly, and you walk away, not with bitterness, but with peace.